So if you can explain the vaccine development and the speed and safety at which that was done.
No, that's a very good point. So indeed, they have been developed in record time. We have never had a vaccine go from, design to some type of approval in under a year, right? That is unheard of for vaccines. But the actual underlying technology behind these vaccine platforms and these different vaccines is decades old. This type of genetic vaccines that deliver a genetic cargo, like the viral vectors and the mRNA vaccines, they started to come up already in the 90s. In the early 90s is when people started doing research on this. Academic research labs started looking into those types of platforms. So they've been around for at least 30 years. And a lot of the main breakthroughs have been done in the last 10, 15 years for these vaccine platforms. And that's why they were reaching their maturity when COVID came along. And that's why we could be so fast in making good vaccines. So all the processes were followed, definitely. All the clinical trials that were supposed to be run were run. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, all of that was run for all of the vaccines that have been approved for use. The main reason that it has been able to go much quicker than normal is that a lot of these trials could be run in parallel, or in a staggered manner, that you would run a Phase 1 trial until you reach the primary outcome. And once you know the primary outcome, you could already start the Phase 2 trial. In normal circumstances, you would wait out until the full Phase 1 trial is done, and that's usually up to a year. The main reason for doing that is also financial risks. That a lot of this is about vaccine companies taking big financial risks on testing medications, or in this case vaccines, in human participants. That costs a lot of money. So the funding that they've been able to receive from governments, footing the bill for the clinical trials, but also for the development, the scaling up of manufacturing, the building of new plants to manufacture the vaccines, all of that has been paid for by governments because they wanted to go quicker, and they want the vaccine companies to feel like they can take that risk because the risk is being covered by somebody else. And that is really why it's been able to go so fast. Of course, there's been a lot of basic research that has paved the way for these vaccine platforms to be able to even be considered as candidates for COVID, as vaccine candidates.